I think I'm recording now. Okay, we'll see. If it doesn't hit the YouTube channel, I blame. See, Skip's over there.
Yeah, it says recording over here, so we'll see.
So you're recording as well. Interesting.
Yeah.
So for those of you who have not checked out the YouTube channel, I have been doing quite a bit of work on getting it updated with all the community updates. The podcast will appear there now, so you can watch Skip and I in our full glory, chatting back and forth. Me dress up in workout clothes sometimes. We're gonna have a really cool special guest coming up. My daughter got to be on one of the podcasts, so she's giving us that teenage perspective of how technology works in schools. So, anyways, this week is quotes are us. So Skip and I design out the roadmap at the beginning of every year of all the things we need to cover throughout the year. And in first quarter, one of the big things we need to talk about is quoting. And a lot of people do this wrong, so we've been trying to prepare you for the past 3 months on how to do quoting right, rather than walking in and telling them, hey, here's all the things you need to buy. There's lead up to this. There is a relationship you have to build first, so that you don't come across as a used car salesman or as a high pressure timeshare. And what we want you to do is we want you to come in there with a relationship where the client is already sold on what you're doing. All you're doing is running by what needs to be done. And so to that end, we do have a proposal tool in the software. That is fantastic. It's not going to replace anything like QuoteWorks or some of your more advanced tools, but it will get you a good budget to propose to your client, to soft sell, and then you can move that into your quoting tool of choice.
Yeah, and the key thing,
Go ahead.
the key thing to remember in that is, what we're trying to accomplish within the managed services platform. We want to be having those strategic conversations. And, before you run through all of the sometimes complicated, but however you look at it, very necessary steps in doing a quote, you first need to understand, is your client going to move forward with this? Because if you haven't got the right expectations set, if your clients don't understand what the ultimate goal of this is, all of your quoting work is going to be an uphill battle or just completely useless. So remember where this fits in our process so that we understand, hey, we want to have the conversation with the client. And when it's time to move forward, we can use this as step one in that process to kick off a proper quoting process.
Yeah. So that's one of the differences between our product and a lot of others, is that we're not trying to solve every problem. We're trying to be a single pane of your glass for your clients to see value in what you're proposing and to coordinate those efforts. Now, to that end, we are working on a really cool budgeting tool that hopefully we'll reveal with our roadmap next month. Just some things for you to look forward to over time. But until then, the proposal tool is a great utility, and Skip's going to kind of show us how to work through a proposal. So you have your dashboard, you have audited your client's infrastructure, and you know where they need to go. You know what's going to help them. You've had conversations with them on the phone or in stakeholder interviews, and you're sitting in your QBR, and part of the end of your QBR is showing them, hey, here's what we propose for the next quarter. So, Skip, do you want to share your screen, or do you want me to share my screen? And
I'll go ahead and do it here. Hopefully Chrome isn't complaining too much and taking too many resources. Let me know if I start getting jittery, other than caffeine jitter.
Oh, you're in this account. Yay.
Yeah. So we've got to redo these, I think.
I know. We should just keep purge at the end of every year.
Yeah, they just keep getting worse and worse. But so let me before I do that, I'm going to take the opportunity to kind of beat my dead horse again. And remember, when you're pushing things to the project roadmap, you want to end there as step 3 in part of this closed loop process. We want to assess, we want to recommend, and then we want to roadmap. And the value of that is if we're completing that cycle, then everything that we're doing comes from an assessment, and it's based on a standard recommendation. And then we have a contextual conversation with the client when it gets to the roadmap. And then once it's through with the roadmap, we mark it as completed. And now it's time to reassess, and we close the loop on this. So yeah, I guess I have to, I feel that so strongly that I just have to squeeze that into every conversation I can, because it does close a loop. It's one of the things that will
Have the
help.
marketing team build you up a nice little illustration.
There we go. We need something, because this will help us, keep things from falling off the radar and just getting lost. So let's say now we've got something on the roadmap. We need to work on this. Let's look for something. Okay, let's look at this one. So this one is still in the recommended stage. All right. So something in here about calendar and Outlook stuff. We can jump in here. We can make some changes. Looks like this was a really old one. Okay. Oh, it's even got YouTube videos. How about that? So this project, this is one of our templated projects. So, we've got some stuff in here, kind of the boilerplate stuff. Again, I think the very specific and valuable section is going to be down here in the deliverables. This is where you can use, sometimes we got some templated fields that you can populate there. I think just putting in some basic bullet points around what the client, this particular client in this particular instance, what they're going to get out of this is great material, so that we always have these projects focused on how it's going to help the clients out. All right. So all that being said, we've got this done. We can cancel this now. Let's go ahead and create a proposal. All right. We can do these in a couple of different places. We can do it from within the project roadmap, or you can do it on the main individual customer view, but it's right here. So let's use this one. We'll create new proposal, and we'll call this one Office 365. I think there's one already out there for this one. Updates. We want to be something kind of particular here for Q2 2022. Okay, there we go. And let's add a proposal to this. So we were needing some O365 items. We can list out several here. Let's choose a generic one there. It's already attached to some projects. That's okay. And it also pulled over a dollar figure here from our roadmap. All right. So when we're in the roadmap and we've got those items going across the blue square, remember there's two values to that blue square. One, we're getting a time frame. We're getting an expectation as far as time in front of our clients. But two, once we get that blue square on there, then we can populate it with an estimated number there. So we don't have to be precise. Remember, we're talking about budgetary items here. We want to make sure we're setting expectations. So we've got that in here. Now, if you want to add more items here, that's fine. You can really add additional stuff. And then if you want to put some more narrative in here, we've got our standard editing tool so that you can drop additional information. There may be a report that you want to put in here because the client was really interested in it. It may just be a simple sentence or a little paragraph that you put in here. Whatever it is, again, this is more the contextual information so the client understands why we're doing this. And the why is not from a technical perspective. The why is going to be, why is this going to help their business? Why do they need to spend this money? All right. So we can just save that, but your more valuable route is going to be to save and share. All right. So we click that. And now we get our standard tokenized link that comes up. So grab this and email it to your client. All right. What they're going to get is the link. And when they open up the link, they're going to see this. All right, the basic information, what we entered in as far as our title, they're seeing the offices listed or the projects listed and our estimated prices down there. All right, now there's a bit more information too, because down here in the proposal, now we actually have more of this templated items. They can see some of the additional contextual information that we had in here. And again, oh, it looks like somebody really populate this one out. This one looks good. So we've got quite a bit of information here in the notes section.
And
so again, this is
just so everybody knows, this is the same information that you have in the dashboard. So if during your meetings, so if you're doing a proposal post meeting Anything you talked about in the dashboard and you updated the deliverables on those project cards, that is what this is. This is a one-for-one translation of what you put in there during your QBR session. So when you put in a deliverable there saying, hey, this is to help Bob with their issues in the mice, or this is to help Alice with her work from home situation, these are where this is going to show up. So when they get the proposal, not only just getting a line item proposal, they're getting an addendum on the bottom here that explains why they need to buy this. That's why we keep pushing, really important, that these deliverables and these business recommendations are stuck on here, because now the CFO is looking at this and going, why do I need to buy a firewall? Instead, the recommendation at this point is going to be work from home solution that includes these things. So it becomes, when you've had these conversations like this, so all quarter you've been having these conversations with stakeholders and stuff, and it's resulted in these projects here being populated with information from the business on problems that the business are having and the solutions. And all the CFO needs to do is throw $1,200 at it, and this problem goes away.
There we
now
go.
They're sold.
Yep. Yeah. The ultimate goal is not to sell technology. We want to sell business solutions.
Yes.
They're based on technology, but we need to keep the focus. All right. So this is all the information that the client will get. It's all on one screen here. You can, put as much information. If you've got several projects, they'll all be here. It's one simple snapshot of where they're at. And now we're asking for the next step. Now the proposal here, and we're trying to keep it short. All right. So we didn't want to overcomplicate it, but the longer definition of this is a proposal to quote. All right. So this is not sign here, again, the old man joke. When I got started, when we did these sort of things, it was actually, 3-part carbonless, and I handed them a clipboard and a pen and said, sign here, press hard, bottom copy's yours. Right. So that was the old days. And this is not that sort of transaction. This is, hey, are you guys really on board with this? If so, we'll move to the next step. So we get our client in here, and they enter it in. They enter in their email address, so they get a follow-up on that, whatever that needs to be, and they either approve or reject. All right. So let's say they hit approve. They're good for this one. All right, boom, they're done. Nothing else to do. The client will close it and move on.
Fair warning, you can, if you choose, so some of you are like, oh, I just want the proposals work. Okay, if you go back to like the proposal, you'll see there's a notes section in there. There's where you put your legal disclaimer that says, by hitting approve, you are committing to this project.
Yes. Yes.
Now, you can put that legal disclaimer in the note that says, by hitting approve, you are committing to this project, blah, 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 have your legalese there, whatever works in your country. And so it's still an e-signature. And therefore, if there is a legal dispute, somebody could claim, oh, that wasn't me. And then you can go back and fight that however you want. But this is about as good as it gets for an e-signature, other than having some kind of cryptography involved. So if you choose to do a legal disclaimer there, that's where you put it. Put it in the note saying, by hitting approve, you are committing yourself to this project, and you will be billed on the next invoice, or you will an invoice will be sent to your accounting department, accounting@virtualc.biz. Whatever it is, just put your note in there, and then they will get this. There we go. They'll get this nice little email that says, thank you for approving.
Yep. That's it. So this will follow up. And then from there, once you do that, you can jump back into your project roadmap. And we look down here, and let's see. I think I've already forgotten which one we picked. But we've been demoing with this one several times. It will flip, or it will prepend this approved statement on the beginning of your proposal. And it's also going to change the status from recommended to approved. So now you've got the ball moving. Now you can get this going on one step. And this would be a good point if you want to begin linking these up. Like if you're connected with ConnectWise, this is a great opportunity. You can now push this over and it will show up as an opportunity in ConnectWise. If you've already got something running there, we can now connect to them. If it's an open opportunity in ConnectWise, we can now link these two together so we can track these going forward. There's a similar process in Autotask. Even if you want to break this down much simpler, there's an option to take this project and ship it out via email to anywhere you want, and you can do some email parsing to give you, some more automation or kicking off some workflows from that. But again, relying on a lot of experience. I came out of a Cisco shop, and as many of you I know have dealt with it in the past, Cisco has never been an easy product to quote. There's always, a lot of configuration questions, a lot of licensing questions. There's always some sort of special running, and even if there's not a special, there's price deviations you can get with your account managers. The list goes on. And I know it's a very similar process with a lot of other vendors. And I've personally been involved in way too many quoting exercises where we went through all the steps to generate a full, complete quote. We push it across the table to the client, and they barely glance at it and they say no. And they say no, not because the information's not right or the price is too high. They say no because they really just weren't interested in doing it in the first place. And we didn't qualify that opportunity early on. So this is a step to help you qualify those, make sure you got client buy-in. If you go through this process, if nothing else, I think we'll be able to save you time in the long run for the quotes that you do actually do. If you're using, ConnectWise Sell, Proposal, QuoteWorks, whatever it is, whatever process you have, we're not trying to upend that or really trying to, hijack that process. We just want to be the start button for that, but we want to start with the client engagement on that.
Yes. And so this is a wonderful way to get things through. And I know some of you don't even have a really great quoting system. It is kind of what we talk about, like press here, I'll bill you later, So this is a great addition for you. So for some of you who are more advanced, who have things in place, then this is a great addition, because instead of just giving that beautiful line items, thing that the accounting department cares about, this is a great contextual quote that says, hey, now we're going to get all this lined up. Prices may change by the time, we actually get quoted out. You can put any disclaimer in there you want. But by using this intermediary step, you are going to sell more. You're going to get people to buy in more because it's something they can understand. Yeah, they'll get like the legal stuff on the back end. Yeah, they'll get the line items later on. But by adding a contextual step in here where you're sitting in the middle of a QBR at the end, or you're walking out of a QBR and you're sending this, like, this is all the information we talked about. It's broken down. It's in a way that you can understand. If you're okay with this price, we'll send you a physical quote later on. Or if you approve this price, we'll go ahead and add it to your invoice next month. We'll put it in ConnectWise, we'll put it in QuoteWorks, whatever you're using, and it'll be added to your bill in the next month.
Now, here's a bonus tip here. So, many of you have heard, my another dead horse that I'll beat, that I won't do that this time, but, we've got to do this successfully. When I say this, I'm talking about, the whole strategic engagement. We've got to make it a team effort. If you're putting all of this on one person, it's not going to go very far. So in that thought process, in going down that path, we're going to get people engaged with our clients that aren't necessarily the account manager, the salesman in this process. You're going to get people like me engaged in these processes. And I tell everybody, I am a mediocre salesman at best. All right. But I'm pretty good in the client engagement. I'm pretty good from the technical level. Why are we doing this? And so it'd be very, very reasonable for me as, say, a lead engineer or, the quasi technical resource to come in talk with a client and say, look, I understand you guys are trying to, increase the speed at which you can do whatever. We can position technology, and I can talk through that with them without going too technical. So I can do all the things that we're supposed to. But what happens at the end of that process, me being me and not wanting to be the salesman, what do? I go, all right, well, I'll let your account manager know and he'll make a quote for this. All right. And what happens next? Do I go and do I do something in ConnectWise? Do I send an email? Do I swing by the account manager's office when I get back, and stick my head in the door and go, hey, why don't you send them a quote? I think they're really interested in this. We have a lot of opportunities for this great conversation that we had to go nowhere. But by using this proposal process, it is so, oh, here we go. It is so simple, even an engineer can do it. All right. We got a sales process that is so simple, even an engineer can do it. And so you can get your people who aren't normally involved in the quoting process. And to be honest, you don't want them involved, right? We'll screw it up, right? But this is a great way to say, hey, I had a great conversation. We talked about these things. They really need this. And I started the process. We've got a approval from them. And now we get to do the quote and do it right. But we don't have anything where we're dropping the ball, so to speak, in between the client conversation and that actual proposal process happening. So use this to continue that conversation. Again, we don't want things to fall in the cracks, fall off the radar, whatever. This, okay, we'll do something next. Let's do it now. Let's track it. And let's make sure it happens.
Yeah. So for those of you who like to Google and do your own research, what this is called soft selling.
Yeah.
And you want to use this, especially for those of us who do not like the hard sell, like buy now or lose out on this deal, or hey,
Yeah.
wait, there's one more thing I can put in here. And that's called a hard sell. And yeah, some people get off on that. They love it. Okay, that's you. That's not me. I cannot do it.
Yeah, can either.
But, the soft sell is, hey, we're all here in a team. Here's what we discussed. Here's the proposal. Let's get to work on this in April, and let's all win together. That's a soft sell. And it works, but it takes effort. You have to build this relationship ahead of time. You have to have an effective QBR in place. And then you have to propose it in a way that aligns with what you discussed. You do that, your clients are going to buy almost every time, unless there's some major financial obligation that's in front of them. They know that if they get on board with this proposal, that their company is going to grow. It's very simple. And this is how we get you from being just an engineer to being a business partner. It's a slow slide, and all of a sudden you're there. I have evaluated your needs from an infrastructure standpoint. I did it without you guys having to be present. I talked to your stakeholders and what are your big problems at your company. I have come in and we have talked about where are we and where are we going and what's going well and what could be done better. And now we've recorded all this in the dashboard. We've added notes and we've had a great conversation. And now we're ready to move forward. All we had to do is proposal. And the proposal has everything we talked about. And now when that person that maybe your point of contact has got to walk in and ask for permission, they've got this wonderful weapon of choice in front of them that shows exactly why this is going to benefit their company. So that point of contact can now walk in with this proposal that is well-defined, well-developed, and they look like a hero, and everything works better. Not only that, but your engineers now know when they start working on this that, wow, this is what I need to do. This is the outcome. So when they need to verify their work, did this get done? Yeah. They now know that if Alice is able to work at home smoothly, they did their job well. It wasn't just getting the firewall in place, but reaching out to Alice specifically and saying, hey, how are things going at home? That is their check-in.
Yeah.
All right, so that is Quotes Are Us. It's simple. It's not something I enjoy doing. It's not my favorite thing in the world to do is quoting. I like to do the work. I like to help clients. I like to see people succeed. I don't like the formality of quoting. I don't like contract management. What I like is delivering awesome results. And so if you guys have any questions on this, reach out to us. We're going to end up next week. No, we have 2 more meetings in this quarter, and we're at the end of the quarter. Something you guys can check out next week is that we will be having a webinar next week on how to talk business. So basically business for engineers. So I'm going to show you some really easy, 5 points on how to evaluate a business and where they're going. It's a really great way to impress a client that you go above and beyond. So that's the webinar next week, 3:00 Central. And I believe in Central, we're getting rid of daylight savings time this year.
That would be so awesome.
We're all looking at the Senate going, okay, guys, just get it over to the House, and we can be done with this, because in the Midwest we hate our daylight savings.
We do absolutely hate it. So that would be good. All right, one final little blurb I want to leave everyone with is, we do feel our tool is very flexible. I love what we can do it. You've probably heard me say, just because you can doesn't mean you should, though. But there is a lot of opportunity to bring additional data in, so we can really help facilitate those conversations. We've got a lot of members talking about IT glue, and I think there are some opportunities to share a little bit of information back and forth between our platform and IT Glue. I don't have an IT Glue instance that I can play around with. And if you've been through my onboarding, you know how adamant I am about, real contextual environments and your validation clients. So I would love to do a little bit of let's see sort of work with somebody and see what we might be able to do with IT Glue. So if any of you guys would like to do that, I'm posting my my calendar link there in the Zoom chat. Book some time on my calendar and let's just take a peek. We're not going to break anything or create a bunch of work, but we'll see if there's some opportunities to bring in some interesting information from IT Glue to help our conversations.
Yeah, and we're going to do a lot of cool stuff with asset management. We don't want the IT Glue people to be left out.
Absolutely.
So, if you guys ever want to see kind of what we're going on the roadmap, I'll probably the first part of April. I think I've got it. Oh, I don't have it listed out. Oh, I do. Well, week 5 of April, I will go over with the community what our roadmap looks like. So in that, we're going to talk about budgets. We're going to talk about enhanced asset management. And we're going to talk about, where are we going with the dashboard? What features have been requested from you guys? And where and when will we develop those out? So we will want to get as much feedback as we can for the IT Glue, so I can slip it in for the integration with the asset management. Because I imagine that's where IT Glue is going to fit best, is importing a lot of those assets into our software, so we can then churn out a great budget based upon what in your asset management. We are not going to be an asset management software. This is being recorded. You can hear it right now. We are not going to be an asset management software. We're not going to be a life cycle software. That's not what we do. But we will be a great C-suite software that is going to help you take your clients to the next level. So anyways, next week, we've got that webinar. You'll probably see it hit out in an email here Monday is the actual one. We were going to have it this week with the daylight savings time that kind of screws up our planning every single time. So we decided to move it to next week. And so business for engineers, this is all about teaching your engineers how to talk business. And it's very straightforward. So join that next week if you want. We'll still have a community update. We'll talk a little bit more about what Q1 looked like and how to move into Q2, what that transition looks like, so that we can kick off Q2 with service with a smile.
Yeah.
All right. If anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out, and we'll see you next week.
See you, everyone.